brothers Bill and Ed. Did they abandon me here? Okay, let me tell you, I'm going to start out first of all with the rules of the roast. Everybody is fair game. Officers, board of directors, people who've come to their first convention. Okay, first of all, Don, do you think you're going to sit behind there for the roast? You're not. Bill, Ed, come on out. Nikki. Gene around here somewhere? Where you want? Right there. Roger has the lighting for that. Gene, I don't see. Is Gene here? Gene?
Where's my drink?
Please sit down. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Something's missing. Ed? And Bill? Can you help Don out here for a second? Don, please sit down. Don needs a table for his drink.
Where's my drink?
He needs a drink.
Can I get somebody in the audience to buy Don a drink? Anybody, please.
What does he want?
Scotch, what do you want? Scotch and soda for Don. The hotel's buying it. No, Don doesn't drink beer. That's not hard enough for him. First of all, I do have a couple announcements to make. John Mitchell, your canoe is double parked at the tri-state marker. We'd please like you to move that. Okay, Nikki and Gail. Gail, would you help Nikki? Don, you're not addressed appropriately for this roast. There's your drink. Don, please stand up.
This is all worth it, man.
Don, you get to keep this jacket. And no roast is appropriate without an ascot. Don will be selling pictures of himself in his outfit next to you.
Be right on the cover of the next book.
We're going to get our roasters up here. We're going to start off. We're going to start off with my brother Bill. Bill, you want to come up?
Captain Morgan.
Let's hear from Bill.
Good evening, my name is Bill, and I'm a high pointer. Let me begin by saying that it is an honor to be here to be part of this first ever roast for the Highpointers Club and to honor an icon of our club, Mr. Don Holmes. I think back to my very first convention, the very first time I met Don Holmes in Illinois in 2003. It was a very awe-inspiring moment for a new high pointer. There he was, the great Mr. Don Holmes, author of a guidebook, a 50 completer. We had a great speaker that year, as I recall. It was Jack Bennett, who had just written his book, Not One in a Day, about his quest to climb all the Canadian provinces. Of course, if you remember the story, Jack had completed climbing the provinces, and then the Canadian government threw him a little bit of a curveball. They created a new province, Inuvik, and that meant that Jack had to go and climb one more mountain before he could truly call himself a completer. Mr. Holmes here had a very similar experience. The seasoned high pointer that he is, as some of you may know, he had just completed his first 13 U.S. high points and was feeling pretty good about himself. And then the curveball, the Jefferson administration did that Louisiana Purchase thing. I kid on about his age. But let me tell you, for a man of his advanced years, he really does amaze me. He still climbs and hikes as much as he did. He still climbs and hikes as much as he did years ago. The only difference now is that he doesn't carry as much climbing gear in his pack as he used to. That, of course, is in order to cut down on the weight, and, of course, to make room for the Depends that he has to now put in the back with him. Incontinence humor there for you folks who don't know about Depends. Yes, this is a wonderful night for Don, a wonderful event to be honored by so many good friends, so many fellow High Pointers. But I must say, Don did appear a bit nervous about this whole roast thing. Earlier this evening, I had a chance to talk to him. He just didn't seem himself. I noticed the improvement immediately. But it's good to have so many good friends here of Don. I see John Mitchell here. Craig Nolan was here earlier. Rob Hyman is here, good friends of Don. Dave Coble from Evergreen, Colorado. Dave, as some of you may know, is a graduate of Bates College up in Lewiston, Maine, here in the Northeast. And I know when Dave comes back to the East Coast, he likes to visit his alma mater. Dave was quite the hockey player in college, quite the athlete in college. I understand he was a three-letter man, a S.O.B. No, I kid Dave too, but I love Dave. I've known him for many years. I've had the privilege of climbing many high points with Dave. I have a lot of great memories of climbing with Dave. One of my fondest memories, however, actually didn't have anything to do with climbing. It was after we had done some climbing in the Sierra Nevada. Dave and his family were staying out in Las Vegas at the Bellagio. We had a big group. We had a nice dinner, a really great time. But as often happens in Vegas, just a horrible, horrible incident. Dave got rolled. But it was actually the only way we were able to get him back to his room. Seriously, I kid Dave, of course. Dave is not really a big drinker, although I did hear recently something that got me a little suspicious. He recently changed his cell phone service from Verizon over to AT&T after seeing one of those commercials that you get more bars with AT&T. As I can kid Dave because Dave is a good friend and a good sport. Don Holmes, on the other hand, I really don't know Don all that well. And as I understand, he's really not a very good sport. But I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I know that Don will not be offended. You see, at Don's age, I know that he either really can't hear what I'm saying right now, or by tomorrow he won't remember. In all seriousness, Don, I meant when I started this, I was very sincere when I said at the very beginning, Don, that you are truly an icon of our club, and it is a privilege to know you, and I wish you always the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Billy. You started attacking Dave here. Let me tell you a very short story about when I first met Dave. It was in 2003, and my brother Bill and I had never done any serious climbs. And we hooked up with a guy we had sort of met on the internet, and we were talking about going to Mount Hood. This is an absolutely true story. It's not a joke here. And said, you got to talk to Dave Coble. He's head of the expedition. And we were doing the Jack Ashes project. And I sent an email to Dave, and I said, I'd like to go on the Mount Hood climb with you. And Dave wrote back to me, and Dave said, what type of alpine experience do you have? And I swear to God, this is what I said back to Dave. I said, my alpine experience is limited to knowing the words of a few songs from The Sound of Music. Dave did not think that was funny. And he wrote back to me and he said, people die on Mount Hood. I will not shepherd you up and down that mountain. Since then, Dave and I have become very good friends. I've stayed at his house a number of times. I love Dave, I love Becky, they are the best. Okay? So it tells you that, you know, sometimes when you start out, they may not get, it has to get better. I have another announcement here. Don Holmes will be available at the bar later tonight. He will be selling autographed copies of his book for Shots of Jock.